Hey guys, welcome to the Brook Trout Homestead. Today we're going to talk about our little worm bucket. As you all know, we have a worm bin, vermicomposting bin. Why we have a worm bin? Worms, they give you a bunch of nutrients through their castings. They break down our kitchen scraps, old cardboard, paper, anything you would normally put in a regular compost bin, you would put in their worm bin, and they break all that good stuff down and give you worm castings. If you've ever purchased worm castings, you can get about 2 pounds for maybe $15, well, where I am. But I get a entire bin full of it for pretty much free, just with old stuff that I have in the kitchen, scraps, etc. So what I wanted to kind of do, I took some of those castings, veggies, and some of our worms. I drilled holes around our bucket and I buried it by our new bed. This is our keyhole bed. This is going to be our first-ish year using it. So I wanted to see if maybe I could get the worms to make me castings, but at the same time get them to go into our keyhole garden. And it's been working amazing so far. And this is probably a great option for a lot of you who don't just want to have a huge bin. You can go ahead and start your castings right in your garden or even under your garden. So come look. All right guys, so what you see, this is the seat that my husband built me for our keyhole garden. I actually use that seat more than I thought I would. But as you can see, there's an underway here. So I was like, hey, you know what? Most worm bins, they need some shade. And even though this is kind of the purpose of that, it also helps it a lot more. So I decided to put it under my bed so that the worms can go through here and into here. So what I've discovered is that's exactly what they've been doing. How do I make this? What I did was I found a 5-gallon bucket from Lowe's in our shed. This is just, we have a bunch of them kind of floating around our yard. I drilled holes on probably the bottom 5 inches of the bucket. And that is to make sure that the worms can come in and out. And I put, on the bottom, I put some mulch, I put some cardboard, I put old potting compost, and I put my worms from my worm bin. And then on the top here, you see those are the veggie scraps. So this has probably been here about 2 months, if that. I think it was about 2 months. So I wanted to show you what was going on. Look at that. So many worms in here, breaking down all of the good stuff. So obviously it's not all broken down yet, and I'm sure the bottom is looking great. But what it is a big glaring system. Hopefully this will be done in another month or so. I'm sure it will. I keep continuously adding some veggies and some cardboard to it. So here's our worm bin. And if everything is going the way I think it would, they would be going down and they would come up into the bed. So I wanted to see this theory again. It worked the other day, so I wanted to show you in the full video.
Oh yeah, there's one.
So what I expected did work. The worms are working their way into the garden bed. How I know this method is working is because we started this bed completely brand new. I want to say around September, October, maybe towards the end of summer. And we started it with just some clean compost. And then that's when we started our layering method. So yes, there is a possibility that some of the worms saw all the good organic matter and then already made their way in here. But everywhere I've dug so far, I've seen brand new baby worms. And either way, that is a good thing. If you are not finding worms in your soil, you need to find a way to make your soil a good place for them. They help with aeration. Their castings are great nutrients for your plants. Worms do the job. They help a lot in gardening. You need worms. I know sometimes it can seem kind of gross, but you need them. They help our ecosystem, they help your plants, and they make your garden a better place. So if you don't have any worms and you want a quick method, find someone on a local gardening page who has worms, or order some worms from online. There's tons of organic places that have worms. I'll go ahead and put a link to a few in the description box. But get your worms started, put them in a bucket, put some old potting soil, put some organic matter, cover it up, make sure that it's covered. I'm using an old terracotta bottom. And let them do the work. Wet it a little bit every now and then, because worms have to have some dampness. They don't need to drown, but they have to have some wet soil. So it's as simple as that. Since I've seen this method kind of working now, instead of just having my regular vermicomposting bin, I'm gonna add a bucket system, probably to each bed, and not necessarily inside. The reason why I didn't want to put the bucket in the beds is because it just takes up too much space. I mean, it works, I get it. If you'd like to do that, that's totally up to you. But for me, I'm trying to use every piece of my garden bed that I can. So I'm probably gonna keep them on the outside, but just near the bed. It does the same thing. You can still get castings and you'll still get worms in your garden. So I hope this video helped you a little bit. I hope this made you want to do a DIY. This is a great DIY to do with your children. They can make one, you can make one. You're also teaching them. Win-win. So have a great day.